afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the Fuel and Fumes podcast, where we are your two favorite motorsports hosts, talking about all the things that you need to know from IndyCar to F1 to IMSA to other racing series, and all the betting picks. We've got it all for you, locked and loaded, right here in Fuel and Fumes. Spencer, how the heck are we doing?
We're good. We're back. We're reset, plugged in like a Duracell battery, ready to go. Yeah.
He's cooking. He's got bars this week. That's it, man. That's all you need. That and a little C4 energy, which we can proudly say that this episode is fueled by C4 energy.
Rated on the laptop.
It's just for it's
for the boys.
It's okay. The laptop needed some energy.
And it got some. Make sure to use code FUMES. That's Fumes for 20% off at checkout. We love it. We thrive off it. It is everything I need in one singular drink.
Feed it to my laptop if I could.
Yeah, feed it to your laptop, and he did feed it to his laptop. We had last week off. We needed a little reset. Unfortunately, we had nothing to talk about, and we weren't going to put together a podcast where we had really nothing to talk about, because that's where me and McGregor start talking and bad things are said because our brains are just working too fast. We need some material.
Too fast is what's wrong.
Yeah, we need some material. So we wait a week, penned it through, made the executive decision, and back we are, charged up, C4'd up, and ready to go.
But you know what? What we did last week, we spent the week thinking and writing and coming up with some new stuff, some good content for you lovely people. So we're going to we're just going to unveil some today. Let it see how the process works, test it, see if it goes. If not, we'll go back to the drawing board.
Pull some strings like Geppetto.
Yeah. Geppetto. The pedo. Made a boy out of wood. Spencer, how have you been since your little week off? Or are we just going to jump right into this?
No, we can talk about whatever you want, man. At the end of the day, it is your podcast. It was good. I'm kind of itching for some racing. Hockey's doing an okay job at being some filler material. So is fighting.
Yeah, fights were good.
Yeah, some solid fights this weekend.
Not normally a fight guy, but I was a fight guy.
Big fight guy, McGregor. So I'm trying to, grab and yank at some other sports that are feeding my need for speed, but I need some speed. Daytona does it. Of course, we'll get into it. Or the 24 hour.
Yeah, I was going to say 24 hours Rolex, 24 hours Daytona. This is the second stop in the impromptu motorsports calendar. First, we had Dakar. Dakar has since wrapped up. Dakar is actually done, which I'll get right into.
The one thing I do want to point out really quickly is McGregor has brought in an iPad to the podcast roundtable. I wanted to immediately say you're a iPad kid, but I've left it out. It seems useful. I'm gonna let him.
See? Look at this.
Yeah, I'm gonna.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah, it's flipping. Yeah. He's got it on a little flipperoonie.
Oh,
you can get to stand up. It can lay down. It's got a middle finger on it too.
One of these for Spencer.
Yeah, it's got a middle finger. I didn't actually call you an iPad kid yet. If it's been something that's pondered in my head, but I haven't said out loud.
We've got tricks for you.
Yeah.
You can take that. You can shove it, pal. This iPad stays on the table. Okay. But yeah, before Spencer rudely interrupted and called me an iPad kid.
Calling iPad kid.
I was talking about the Dakar Rally. Dakar is done. It is the first stop of the motorsports season, shall we say. It is what we string together to get a motorsports season before F1 and IndyCar are back. But Dakar is done. This year, the outright winner was Saudi driver Yazid Al-Rajhi. Reggie.
Nailed it.
Yeah.
Nailed it.
Yazid Al-Rajhi. He managed to lift the Touareg trophy. He is the first person to win on home soil. And it was kind of a washout of a year, let's say. Some early atypical people fell by the wayside, including Carlos Sainz Sr., who was last year's winner, and Sebastian Loeb, who, of course, is, rallying and off-roading royalty. These were some of the most high-profile departures. But yeah, we just had, Yazid put on an absolute clinic. He is also one of the country's richest people. which
That's
crazy.
That's baller.
So yeah, he's just, started competing in local rallies in the Middle East in 2007, made the leap to international rallying in 2014. He's just a dude. He likes football. He likes racing. He's got a lot of money. So he's kind of just a guy who he's got money and time to kill. So he just picked up and became an international champion of rally, or let's just say a Dakar champion.
Dude, they have his net worth.
What is it?
It says, I don't know if this
north
is
north of 500 million US.
I don't know if this is his racing team or him himself.
Probably him himself.
But they say it's 12.5 billion.
Oh,
yeah. Apparently, it might be the team. It could be the team itself.
No. Well,
could be the team itself.
Well, I mean, he owns it, so it's technically his.
Dude's worth.
So let's just say
$12.5 billion.
The racing team alone is 12.5 billion.
Yeah.
Which I don't think there's a racing team on this planet that's worth 12.5 billion.
That's what it says. Apparently,
you know what? Maybe Ferrari are like
they're suggesting. Well, you gotta
maybe the F1 teams aside.
Yeah, F1 teams aside. Yeah,
that's crazy.
Yeah. Have they ever thought about putting like obstacle courses in Dakar? Like
you don't need it. You don't need it. You do not need it. The Earth is enough of an obstacle.
Not if you threw like maybe like a C4 here and there, like just one in the ground.
just an IED road guide.
Yeah.
Just, like
in the middle of the desert. Yeah.
Carlos Sainz Sr. actually doesn't know he's driving over a 2,000-pound IED.
Like Mad Max. Make it a little bit like modern day Mad Max.
I think you're getting like
almost like riddled bombs from World War II. Yeah.
Catch like part of the challenge is there's the 24-hour chrono stage where you don't actually get to sleep that much.
Yep.
And then there's also the bomb stage.
Yep.
So
keep it interesting.
Yeah. Keeps it interesting.
Like you are correct. It's interesting in itself, but I'm just trying to add another level to it of creativity.
Add another level. All right. I'm in.
Yeah.
I'm in. Maybe let's do less harmful ones. Because I actually don't think anyone died this year. Which is a big plus. Someone died last year. I don't think any deaths. Knock on the glass table. But the second stop in the impromptu motorsport season is the 24 Hours of Daytona. Obviously, we just had the Roar before the 24, which is the sanctioned test that goes on before the Rolex 24 Hours. And I got to say, it's great. The content that's coming from this is amazing. Like we're getting F1 drivers, world-class IMSA drivers, WEC champions, everybody and their uncle is driving in this. I was just telling Spencer about some high-profile teams that you've got to look out for. Teams like the Acura Meyer-Shank team in the number 93 Acura with IndyCar champion Alex Palou, Nick Yellowly, Renger van de Zande, and Kashkoshin Ota.
Dude, you nailed the first three. Woo! Yeah, you nailed. Well, Plou's an easy one, but the other two.
Nick Yellowly, he's a legend.
Yep.
You got to watch out for him. Other team pairings include Roman Grosjean, Daniel Kvyat in the Lamborghini number 63 car. One of my favorites, the Acura Meyer-Shank 60 car, is they've got Tom Blomqvist, the Indy 500 missile, who took out Marcus Ericsson this year, and Scott Dixon, Felix Rosenquist, and Colin Braun. Other good ones, man. We got Jack Aiken, Frederick Vesti, and Felipe Drugovich, the F2. These are just all like F2 legends here.
Who do they got Mr. Ilott paired up with? I actually didn't see his team this year.
He's in the GT, or is he in the LMP?
I think he's in the LMP.
Yeah, he is. Where is he?
There he is right there.
Pietro Fittipaldi, James Rowe, and Chris Cumming.
Yeah.
There's some. Oh man, yeah. We got Christian Rasmussen, the Indy driver. There's my team the team that I'm watching very closely is the Trackhouse team with Ben Keating, Connor Zilic, Scott McLaughlin, and Shane Van Gisbergen in the number 91 Trackhouse Corvette. This is my 1-1 team. This is these are some of my favorite drivers on the planet. And of course, there's just so much drama that unfolds here. So we've got a lot to look forward to with the 24.
Now, this is this weekend, correct?
This coming weekend.
This coming weekend. It's this coming weekend.
This coming weekend.
Yep.
John was going to go.
Oh, yeah. John did say he was looking at tickets. He suggested that he thought his car was going to make it. John, news to you, that car would not make it to Ohio.
John, it doesn't even make it into work most days.
Nice.
But we said we weren't going to talk about John this episode. So,
no, we clarified, but yes.
Yeah, no John talk.
No John talk.
But yeah, so I'm really excited. There's a lot of people going watch hunting this weekend because the prize obviously is a beautiful white gold Rolex Daytona with the big red Daytona over one of the little small dials.
Have you seen the watch that they actually did they come out with the designs yet? Did they post them publicly?
I think so. I think here
this is last year's, but I'm curious to what they look like because I actually have no idea. I know what the Daytona looks like, but I'm curious. Oh, there it is. You can see it in there. You can zoom in.
Yeah, let's see if there's
now they teased you. Oh, that's clean.
It's like beautiful white silver.
Oh, it's nice.
Yeah,
very nice.
And it's engraved on the back too with the Rolex 24 and the year. Obviously,
it's pretty baller.
But someone posted the other day because they've got 3.
That's baller. You have 3 different watches from the Daytona. Daytona's coming up this weekend, and we're watching it, boys.
We're watching. Hopefully in person next year.
Ambitious.
Me and John. We're gonna do the 24 hours of
John
Toronto to Florida.
So that's it. That's probably exactly 24 hours. Can't be far off.
It's 4 hours by plane, 24 hours by drive.
Love that.
You can do it.
Well, past the upcoming races and on to some Formula One news, which we've gotten, which is absolutely peachy. Lewis Hamilton has realized his dream after his first official day at Ferrari, which was yesterday, correct? Was it yesterday?
Yeah, yesterday.
Today being Tuesday, being what, the 21st?
Yep.
The 7-time Formula One world champion shocked the sport last year, of course, when he said that he'd be joining the Italian fit this season after spending over 12 years on the dot at Mercedes. Monday, he did spend a lot of his time at the Ferrari factory in Maranello, Italy, of course, where he spent some new times with some colleagues. He dressed up in an incredible black fitted suit next to a Ferrari F40 supercar. He looked great. He looked like he was out of The Sopranos.
Nosferatu.
Yeah, buddy, he looked dialed.
He looked good.
He looked dialed.
I'm just going to say, though, I think Schumacher looked better.
No.
Vettel. I don't know.
No, I think he looked kidded. I think that he really fit the vibe for me.
I'm booted up for sure.
I wouldn't say I'm a Ferrari Lewis hater. I wasn't. I think it's cool that he's going. I didn't have any extreme thoughts about it. I know some people loved it.
I love it. I'm huge into this.
It's cool. I like it, but I liked his fit showing up. He really fit the mentality for me, and I might be putting a foot in the train.
I think this year we've got to become fans. Like we've got to become like diehard Ferrari fans. If you say anything about Lewis, I'll cut you with a knife.
All right.
All right. I'm thinking that's what's the future's playing out. Because man, Lewis is my guy. That is, I like Lewis, but now that he's in Ferrari, it's going to be something special.
I'm excited to see what turns out. I got to put up the picture with him in outside the car. It looks incredible.
It might be the most reposted photo in Instagram history.
Oh yeah.
It might be. It's got to be up there with the egg. You remember the egg?
I remember the egg. It was just an egg.
And then there's also, what else is up there? It's got to be an inauguration day photo.
Probably Obama. Probably Obama.
Yeah, Obama.
Instagram couldn't have been popping though in 2012. So.
No, you're right. Yeah, I don't even know if stories was a thing.
Maybe not.
No,
I don't know.
Well,
definitely
that was the most reposted photo on the internet.
Definitely one of the most reposted photos on the internet, like you said. Staying in Italy, of course. The Racing Bulls head to the venue at the Italian Grand Prix for a 3-day test with the previous car from last year with this new 2025 driver, Isaac Hujjar, and of course the last year racing Red Bull driver or racing bulls rather of Yuki Tsunoda. I'm curious to kind of see. They never put out the tests. It's me and McGregor's constant pet peeve of saying that teams are going and doing testing, preseason testing. And if it's not a big public testing, if all the teams are doing it, they don't release the times. But
two things are true. Two things that we know are true. Isaac Hadjar did an okay job, and Yuki Tsunoda underperformed, or at least in people's mind, he underperformed. You know that is the narrative. It's the scenario. It is what happens in RB. It sounds like the new guy comes in. Yuki does a fine job, and then somehow it's not good enough.
Yuki's just a stable man. He doesn't over-deliver. He doesn't under-deliver. He's just a stable beats per minute.
Like, in my mind, his stability is like, here, and Lance Stroll's is here.
Yeah.
But they both deliver sometimes.
Yeah, I agree. I definitely I agree in your hand movement of Yuki being the gap. But I agree. I think that's a very sound way to put that.
No one's ever blown away by their performances. Sometimes they are. Sometimes Lance Stroll gets a fifth. Maybe. Sometimes Yuki gets a third. Things like that. Crazy things happen.
Yeah. In terms of rankings in general, McGregor has put together a little list here.
I got power or pressure rankings, not power rankings. We got pressure rankings. These are the people who have the most pressure to perform going into the 2025 season. This is just how it's going to shake out. Number one. We've got number one, Jack Doohan. Rumors say that his future is already under threat with a half-season contract. That's scary business for him. He's won one because he will face the most immediate threat and pressure to perform internally, and he has the likes of Franco Colapinto breathing on his back.
Yeah,
he's just the gravity of Franco Colapinto just sitting in the reserve driver role for Alpine is it's got to be some scary business for him.
It's unfortunate that his career has started off the way it has in terms of his conversation and
he's barely gotten in and he's already under pressure.
Yeah, it's tough. It's tough for the kid. I think that it's not a fun way to come into the season under that much pressure already to perform in a car that really isn't incredible.
No.
It's an okay car. It's definitely not the worst car.
It was at one point.
The Alpine car has clawed itself back. But yeah, I think it's tough. I think that's an unnecessary amount of pressure, but you are correct. I agree that the kid's got it at number one.
Number two, this one's a little bit of a hot take. Yuki has been overlooked and is fresh out of a heartbreak. After not being sent to Red Bull, he's paired with a rookie in an underperforming car. Yuki will perform while questioning every decision he's ever made. And that's just the reality he's got to live with. If he does not, we risk losing Yuki to the same yips that took Checo out. So
now, where I totally agree where you put him on the pressure rankings, I think that he'll do incredible under pressure. I don't think this is really going to bother him at all. I do agree that if he underperforms or starts bending the car, that will have an issue, but I don't think he's going to feel any pressure whatsoever. He knows the car better than anyone in that car.
Well, yeah, he's the longest tenured driver for sure.
I think he'll be dialed. I think he'll be nails. I don't see him falling under the pressure. I think he'll be more than fine, but I do agree that he probably is number two in terms of having the pressure on him.
Yeah, I think you're right. He does live in a bit of a pressure cooker situation at all times. Number three, I've got Mr. Kimi Antonelli, highly touted, the second coming of Verstappen in the top seat. It's obvious he's got a lot of pressure. He's also fresh off an FP1 crash. So that's obviously not a great foot to start your Formula One career on. But he has also just had testing in the W11, I think it was, one of the best Mercedes ever made. So I think they're just trying to build confidence here.
I think he's three.
Put him in one of the best cars ever built, and put him in testing. It's going to be hard to spin that thing. It is on rails, so I think that's a bit of a confidence fluffer for Mr. Kimi Antonelli.
I think it's a bit early and preemptive for me. I understand that Mercedes wanted to sign him as early as they did because no new story had come out where they had the opportunity to sign Verstappen many years ago, decided not to. They thought it was preemptive, and of course Red Bull snatches him up, and 3-4 championships later, we're here.
Yeah, Toto still punched himself for
Yeah.
that.
So I think it's preemptive. Others will disagree. But I do think that, again, I do think this is a little preemptive. But I do agree. I think 3 is a solid spot for him in terms of the pressure rankings. He's got it on him. He's got a monkey on him.
He's got a monkey on his back. He's got the weight of the world. Number 4 also has the weight of the world on him, Mr. Liam Lawson. This lad needs to perform, and he needs to perform quickly, or he will get the Alex Albon, the Pierre Gasly, or the Daniel Kvyat treatment. Too quick to judge, but Red Bull will chew you up and spit you out because, of course, they do have Yuki Tsunoda sitting in the gun waiting for this next spot.
Yeah. This is again, I think 4 is the right spot. I think that Lawson having the seat in Red Bull, the problem is if he came in a Red Bull in 2021, it's a much different story. Different car, different time, different place. But Red Bull's lost the constructors. And I think there is a lot of pressure on the Red Bull team to perform. And I think it being Liam's full season, even though technically it's not his rookie season because he's done races. I don't think he's fit the format to be able to say that it's not his rookie season, but then some people say it's not.
Yeah,
or it is.
It's weird because I think this is his rookie season where he's a full-time entry. But of course he's done, 7 races, 8 races now.
He's done a few, enough to consider or,
Yeah.
Argue that it might not be his actual rookie season, but there's a lot of pressure on him in that car. Red Bull thinks he can perform. I think that Yuki should have got the seat, but again, apparently I'm just a Yuki lover.
Yeah.
I think 4 is a good spot for him in the pressure rankings again. I think that he's gonna have the weight of the world and the pressure of the Red Bull team on him, but I guess we'll have to kind of see how he performs.
Yeah, and I mean, he's gonna be the number 2 driver, even though he's trying to make a name for himself. So that's also just more internal conflict that he's gonna have to deal with. Number 5, I've got Alex Albon. This one's a bit of a hot one because he's for the first time since 2020, Alex will have a race winner as a teammate. We saw Franco Colapinto make Alex look bad for the first time, or from time to time, sorry. But now he really has to perform. Also, staying clean is going to be a huge priority for the team. Williams just kind of slips under the radar, I think, for pressure, but internally, I think it's quite tough to be a Williams driver.
Yeah, I think the pressure's there too. Like you said, I think it's the first time he's had a legitimate and stable teammate in terms of contract and just being on the team.
More or less not a pay driver, really.
Yeah, true. Very true. Actual competition is probably the best way to put it. Colapinto was a good competition for him, but it was mid-season. It was just strange the way they went about it. So I do think that, like you said, with Carlos, I think that he's going to have pressure. But I think there'll be a really good driver pairing. I don't think we expect too much. So I think the pressure's less.
Yeah.
So I do think 5 is a good spot. But this is probably the most pressure he's had since leaving Red Bull, or getting the boot from Red Bull, rather.
100%.
So yeah, I agree with that.
Number 6, I'm making a bit of a change here. Charles Leclerc, he's at my number 6. Charles has the go to the sport as his new teammate and one of the most politically charged teams in all of sports. He's had a good 2024 with 3 wins. But he is at risk of becoming the number 2 in Ferrari after being their golden boy for so many years. So I think that's going to be something that's going to weigh on him quite a bit.
Yeah, I think it's the consistency for Charles. I don't think it's anything massive to be changed, but I think, the consistency is a big thing for him.
Yeah.
Just being able to come out and compete on a regular basis and be a constant threat. Sometimes he is and sometimes he's not. So I think being consistent in terms of coming and being pressure all the time, I think is a big one. So I actually kind of liked the original ranking you had, but I will let you do the next one.
Number 6, Max Verstappen. It's time to defend his title in the 3rd or 4th best car on the grid. The team seems like the fallout from Horny Horner has stopped, but they're definitely still shaking.
They're shaking in their boots.
We've seen a lot of people leave, high-profile race engineers, team personnel. Sergio Perez, he was the glue, but that's kind of finally stopped, and they're in what any other sport would call a bit of a rebuild, I think. Not that they've plummeted to the depths or they're no longer fighting for championships, but for Formula One, where you can kind of pick up and rebuild and get back to the top. That's where they are now.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think that this is the most pressure Max has had in half a decade. I think that there's a lot of pressure on him to perform. But again, he's like Yuki in the sense that I don't think he really feels the pressure.
Yeah.
I think he's just going to go there and drive the wheels off the car.
Yeah,
Even if it's not being close to the most, technologically fast car or technical in general car.
It's going to be, second, third, if they're lucky.
Second, third. Yeah. Third consistently. Like I'd say it's a solid third car on the grid. So I think he's really going to have to, I don't think he can be the regular Max though, in terms of what we've seen in times of being aggressive constantly. I don't think he can take as many risks as he usually wants to. Not with the car the way it is. I think that if he had the best car on the grid, as you've seen, for many years in a row, being able to just be dominant, even when he's not fully there, the car had it. So I think he's going to have to be passive in how aggressive he wants to be throughout the season, because I don't think he can go in with the driver style that he has of constantly being in people's way if the car can't handle that.
Yeah, so he's going to have to chill out a little bit. Mellow Max.
Yeah, mellow Max. Yeah, he's going to have to get on that ganja to take himself down a notch or two.
I think we're at number 8 here. Lewis Hamilton, he's going to have to perform quickly to keep the Tifosi on his side. And qualify well to stay out of the shit that's going to go on, because there is 6 rookies.
Yeah,
there's going to be a lot of unnecessary crashes, spins, bad starts. Lewis has got to be near the front, top 6 to top 8 at least. Front half of the grid.
He's got a lot of eyes on him.
A lot of eyes. And the Tifosi, they don't take kindly to strangers. They've taken kindly to Lewis, but that's about it.
Yeah,
he's got a 2-strike count. He needs to start hitting.
He's probably got 2 on him.
In my number 9, I've got Piastri. He will need results fast to stay out of the second driver slot. McLaren's going to be more definitive this year with their 1-2 drivers, their papaya rules, whatever the fuck they call it. They lost a championship because of that, and they're not going to let that happen again. So, Piastri needs to be less wishy-washy, and Norris at 9 to beat Piastri and fix the bottles, because we just can't have what he did last year with bottling wins like that. That's just not good.
Yeah, I got no comments for that. I agree. I think it was well spoken. I think it's no notes, no Cole's notes. Just that's what it is.
And then number 9, bottom of the pressure rankings, almost no pressure. He's at atmospheric pressure. Carlos Sainz has to beat Alex, but nobody's expecting very much from them. And then I've also got the absolutely zero pressure situations. These guys, they're not turning into diamonds anytime soon. Lance Stroll, pressure's growing with Newey in town, and Alonso becoming more fed up with the bullshit. But until we see anything else, he will keep going as usual. He's going to be Lance Stroll.
I wish I could make a future bet. Unfortunately, I can't. I'd love to make a bet for 2027 or even 2028 for Aston Martin to become world champions.
Yeah.
But you can't. I wish off topic that I could do that, but I can't. That's just life.
Yeah. Take out a savings bond.
Dude, I'd throw Jesus Christ.
Oh, John.
Oh my God, dude. The worst part is that I was looking over there. That's the worst part. Gosh, bye, John.
Bye, John.
It's going to be a non-John podcast, and
he just went and did that.
He did that. All right. Next is
Next, we got George Russell. He is in the easiest seat in the house, a mid-level championship competitor car with one of the highest stress rookies around after beating Lewis. George, he will need to lead the team, but should have no problem doing so. I think that's maybe the best seat in the house right there.
I think it is, because they can't get rid of him. So much pressure's on Antonelli, and I think that. What do you mean?
No.
I agree. You agree. Okay, I was just like, oh wow. Yeah, I agree. I think he'll have a little bit of a trouble transitioning to be kind of a leader. I think he's a little bit over aggressive, and especially what he says publicly.
Yeah.
And maybe takes things a little bit personally.
And
Just what he
too
said,
seriously. Yeah.
just what he said media wise. I don't know the guy, so we're just spitballing here. But yeah, I think he's probably 80% there. But yeah, I agree. I think he's probably got the best seat literally in the house right now.
Yeah. Number 3, Hulkenberg and Bortoletto. They just need to make it to 2026 and score a couple points for jokes here and there. Doesn't matter. No one really cares. Like
Nope.
it'd be lovely, but their team's turning into Audi soon. So, or Cadillac. Yeah. So
No, wait, Cadillac's getting their own team.
Yeah, Audi.
It is Audi.
I keep forgetting about
Yep.
that. Number 4, Haas Mickey Mouse pairing that will allow Behrman to look good from time to time. Obviously, Behrman's going to be putting pressure on himself to perform well, but all they need to do is keep it clean and qualify, hopefully well, because that Haas does have wheels on it sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
So, Gasly, cakewalk. Only requirements is to stay clean, beat doing.
Which will be easy for him.
Cleanest driver last year, didn't have a single accident.
No damage.
And he's just got to beat doing. He's getting better.
Mm-hmm.
I don't rate Gasly very highly, but he is improving. And number 6, Alonso, fight hard for Rookie of the Year. Also, keep in mind, all these guys, teams are starting to lock down their rookies for the new 2026 rules and regulations, because they will need people that are competent in giving feedback and stuff like that. So I think the driver switching is going to be, maybe at half. We're going to see 1 or 2, but that'll be it. So probably no rookies for next year.
That was probably the best list you've ever put together.
Woo!
I kind of was cheesed mentally when you changed Verstappen and Charles, because I thought you had it exactly perfectly in my eyes. But yeah, I think that was a truly flawless list.
Thank you.
It's very well put together.
Very good. Let us know what you think about the pressure rankings. Who do you see differently? Who's not on the list?
Who's got the best pressure?
Who's got most pressure? Who's turning into diamond soonest? Who's got no pressure? Let us know in the comments. I'm genuinely curious.
Yeah.
I want to hear.
It's very good.
I don't think I've got anything else.
Buy t-shirts.
T-shirts.
We got t-shirts.
We've got t-shirts. And yeah.
That's it.
That's it, man.
We
are
out of here. Goodbye. Bye. See you later. Goodbye.
Love you.